So for those of you who do not know, in fact, maybe what I'll do is that, Mark, why don't you start by introducing what Aethir is first before we begin, for the people that are new, have not heard about Aethir before?
You may have heard a phrase or a term DePIN before. That stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Network. It's effectively when you build something like an AWS or a telecommunications company, but you don't necessarily own all the hardware yourself. What Aethir is a GPU infrastructure layer, right? We aggregate GPUs and then we allow those GPUs to be connected to demand all over the world. Why is that important? It's important because GPUs are the engine that power AI. That is the chip that NVIDIA has built and released. That's why NVIDIA is now essentially $1 trillion company, the top or second largest company in the world. What we do is we take idle supply of GPUs from all over the world, telcos, data centers, tech companies, and we allow them to connect that to our infrastructure so that we can match them with demand, so that this critical resource, it's really expensive and really difficult to get a hold of, is now accessible in a way that it never was before. It gives us the ability to provide those resources to LLMs, to train language models, whether they're large language models or small language models. But more excitingly, now it allows us to power agents.
Now, Mr. Will Dean, okay, welcome to our first Future Trends Virtual Summit, right? Quickly introduce yourself because your project is very new. Maybe quickly talk about what is Fomo.Fund.
So my name is Will Dean. I'm the founder of Fomo.Fund. Fomo is a infrastructure layer for launching AI agents. So if you're, non-tech or you're not familiar with AI agents, but you want an AI agent, whether it's for trading, personal assistant, entertainment purposes, or even just to explore, you can come to our platform. You can easily, with a few clicks, launch your agent, and then you can put it to work. And then we have another aspect coming out that will be a little bit deeper, where you can customize it on top of our platform. And so, yeah, we're an AI agent platform on top of Solana.
So I want to point your first question to Mark. Aethir is not completely Web3 because you guys also serve a lot of Web2, Web 2.5 companies. Do you anticipate this demand to continue in 2025, or do you foresee a slowdown? What factors influence your perspective?
AI, I think everyone agrees, is going to have a huge amount of impact across pretty much every sector there is out there. But interestingly, when you take a look at how that change is kind of tracked, there's two phases. That first phase is the phase that we've been in and we will stay in for a considerable period of time. And that is kind of what you can think of as the training phase. Training is the process of pretty much taking data and GPUs and running your LLM through a series of processes that increase the capability of that LLM over time, right? That's this trajectory that we have that's not going to change. This pathway to what we call AGI, artificial general intelligence, this ability for AI to essentially replicate the capability of an independent person. But along that kind of transition of capability, as LLMs get increasingly complex and increasingly good at doing different tasks, there is also this shift towards what we call inferencing, right? This point in time where it becomes realistic for AI applications to spin out of the capability of the LLMs that have been trained. And that's what we're seeing now. We've reached this point where companies, individuals, developers now have the ability to create application level agents, but AI applications built on the back of the capability of these LLMs. AI applications require GPUs too. So actually, I absolutely anticipate that demand for GPUs is going to go up. When you look at how LLMs are trained, large clusters of GPUs worth hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. And there's a very small number of companies out there, maybe 10, that have the capability trained, but the companies capable of launching agents. And if you think about it, just like with Virtuals, what percentage of those million agent or AI application related startups is going to go viral? The way that GPU requirements scale alongside the virality of an application is a new area of compute. And now we have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of developers and communities out there building AI applications, AI agents. Some of them are going to go viral and they'll all need GPUs. Our utilization and demand for our GPUs are going to look like incredibly bullish.
Talking about Virtuals protocol, for those of you who do not know, they used to be a gaming DAO and then they pivoted to AI agent and they did really well. A lot of people made a lot of money from Virtuals protocol, which is why I want to point this question to Will. How big of a difference between Fomo.Fund and Virtual protocol is? Like, why should I look into Fomo instead of Virtuals?
So while we're similar in many ways, allowing users to create agents, we also have other core products that help us take more of an ecosystem approach. So one of the things that we have is we have a FOMO DAO. So when you launch your agent, we take 5% of the token, because the agent launches with the token, take 5% of that, put it into our DAO to incentivize community around what we're building. Another really, really important difference is we're focusing on teams. So behind the agent, they're the teams creating the agent. And what we want to see is we want to see who's building, what capabilities they have, how are they thinking about it. And so that's a product that we're coming out with this week. We're really, really excited about it. We have a big developer community on Telegram that's going to be part of this launch. And lastly, one of the more technical things is we do have our own integration. So we have voice customization from 11 Labs, but really we're integrated into the ELIZA framework. So the ELIZA framework by AI16Z DAO, that is, from a capability standpoint, that's limitless. And I think that Virtuals doesn't have right now, they don't have a capability where they're pulling from an open source repo. AI16Z DAO is probably going to be the largest curator of AI infrastructure on blockchain inevitably. And so while the focus might be on Virtuals from the base ecosystem, I think we have more capabilities because we have a larger developer ecosystem. We're not a closed system the way Virtuals is.
Maybe Will, explain what exactly is an AI agent and what can it do for an average person?
So it's an artificial intelligence system that's capable of performing tasks on behalf of a user and while processing millions of different points of data to come up with the most efficient result. I always like to add in that last piece of efficiency because it's not just some bot that's pulling from a closed data set. It's literally scouring millions of sources of data depending on how you're using your agent and bringing you the most optimal thing.
I know Aethir, Mark, this is back to you. I noticed you guys have like a huge crush on AI agent. Why is Aethir so deeply invested in this particular area? And what potential do you see in AI agent in the near future?
I think people have an understanding of what an LLM is. ChatGPT is an LLM. You can almost think of it as a brain. You ask the question of that brain, it thinks, and then it gives you an answer. But it can only answer your question. But what about the body? What about the ability for that brain to interact with the real world? That's what agents are. Agents are the hands and the feet of the LLM. And that ability to have an agent that can go and then do the things that you can brainstorm with an LLM is really, really powerful. On top of that, agents communicating with other agents to attack and do complex tasks. And it's something that's going to really change how we interact with the world in a very, very exciting way. You've probably heard about DeFi. How will AI interact with the finance sector in Web3? And you can go and speak to an agent and you can say, tell me the top performing meme coins that have launched in the last 24 hours on the Solana and Base ecosystem that have seen over 100% ROI, that have a market cap under 5 million and have positive Twitter sentiment. It will give you a list of, say, 20 companies. That list, you can't see that anywhere else. That agent created that list specifically for you by aggregating information across the fragmented ecosystem that is Web3. It probably took things from 100 or 1,000 different places. It's going to be really, really powerful for the average investor. So DeFi is a category that I'm really interested in. You may have also heard DeSci, right? Decentralized science. This is 3 compounds some scientists anticipate to have health benefits. They'll go through medical trials. Well, guess what? We're having a bunch of science-based agents predict the outcome of those trials. The ability for these agents to simulate what needs to happen on a research and science and experimental basis is going to rapidly speed up the ability for us to get to incredible scientific and medical outcomes. And doing that in a decentralized way, that's a sector that I think is very, very interesting. And there's a lot of gigabrains that are spending a lot of time on that. AI plus gaming, the idea of putting AI into games, to creating games that have truly variable storylines where your experience in the game will be totally different from someone else's. Usually what we imagine is you step into a game, the world is there. Like the world has been designed, and then maybe AI is the NPCs, maybe the AI is kind of programming in monsters or something, but we kind of imagine that this world is there. I saw an agent, right, that puts you into a game and it is instantly rendering the game in front of you. So you can type in, make this like Counter-Strike, and then it will instantly render it into Counter-Strike. Or you say, no, I want World of Warcraft, instantly render it into World of Warcraft. So you could be walking through a game that actually doesn't exist yet, and it's existing every second as you explore this existence. totally incredible. I don't even think we understand how much the gaming sector is going to be changed by AI. So very, very cool. And then, of course, I think the other sector, how do you reduce the barrier of people launching their own agent? I think Aethir is the infrastructure underneath. And then on top of that, the next level of infrastructure are these platforms like Fomo.Fund. And that is a critical next step so that you, the audience can get in there and start playing around without having to be a software engineer, because everyone's going to have agents in the future. Everyone's going to be using them in a bunch of creative ways. Not everyone will be using them in the same way, right? But having that barrier to entry lowered, crucial.
Will, what do you envision as the next evolution for AI agent? Right now, AI agents are doing a lot of communication. They're becoming influencers. They're becoming investors. What's next? What's the next possibility?
A lot of people could potentially use in the future is agents being able to make money. So giving a directive to an agent going on actually being able to make money, make revenue, not just providing a service. So that's something we're definitely interested in seeing pop up. I mean, we have agents for entertainment, agents for gaming, for trading, for DeFi, all in their infancy. And like Mark said, like gaming is going to be huge. I mean, gaming and entertainment, for what the possibilities are, is we can't even fathom what that might be. I'm very passionate about, and that I think is going to be the evolution, which is DeSci, right? So like in the medical field, being able to compute that much data that an agent has access to, there's no doubt in my mind that we will curb disease or many, many different cures over the next few years, because you're pulling from all different studies, all doctors across the world, being able to process that and understand what is the best decision to do medically here. So I think from a advancement standpoint, that's going to be powerful. I also think that, humans are largely inefficient, right? And with the right access to data, which agents have the ability to get, a lot of things are going to change for the better. But circling back, I think the medical industry is prime for a revolution. And I think that AI agents are going to be a big, big part of that.